Your scalp is choking. Your scalp is choking. How how calcium buildup can trigger hair loss and how to stop it. With that and more, ladies and gentlemen, here is the hair wire.
I'm glad you enjoyed that one.
Hey guys, let's put a little humor here. You know,
Sergio's laugh for the day.
it's been a while since we've been here in the hair wire. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the hair wire. To the hair wire, the place where you, my friends, get hair smart. I'm your host, Sergio Cador, alongside with Carrie Jerry. How you doing, Carrie?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. We miss Basan though. I do.
Hey, we miss you, Biz. We miss you. We need you. So Biz is out for a couple of extra weeks, but she'll be back very soon. And we are waiting for her. We're waiting for Biz. The Bisan. She's going to be here very soon. So today, guys, we're going to be talking about your scalp is choking. Now, here's the thing. We want to talk about calcium deposit, calcium buildup. First, on your scalp follicles and your hair. And what do they do? What is it? And especially, what can we do to stop it? And we need to find out everything in between that's happening with calcium deposits, calcium buildup on your scalp. All right. Now, Carrie, walk us through this process because people need to understand what is this thing about calcium deposits and why, basically. Why was it happen? What is it? Let's start with the basics. What is it? And first of all, why you want to talk about this today?
Yeah. No, this is a really cool topic. And, even as trichologists, we're human, life happens and you forget about, your own self-care and, you're always worrying about this and the next, but also going back to the fundamental foundation of a lot of things. And what provoked me investigating this further is because I'm actually moving spaces. I'm moving into a new salon, trichology salon. It's a medical grade trichology salon that is building an academy. And I'm a part of this whole movement. And the owner, Brittany, brought me in and gave me one of the experiences. And I said, okay, just treat me like, or she's like, I'm just going to treat you like a guest. I'm not even going to consider that you're Carrie. You're a guest. I've never met you before. Let's walk you through this. I'm like, okay, let's do this. So she pulled out the trichoscope. She did everything and it was crazy. And, I have long hair, I have healthy hair, and I don't always investigate unless I have a trigger happening. And I haven't been doing like my regular check-in maintenance for my hair or my scalp. And she's like, Carrie, you have so much calcium buildup. I'm like, pardon me? I do? I what? And she showed me all the calcium buildup. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, look at that. I have thick calcium buildup here, and I had a pocket here. And I was like, that's so weird. But I've been really working on shampoos and conditioners to help nourish my hair because of all the fires and how dry it is where I am, that our hair has been so dry. So I've been just really focusing on moisturizing and nourishing my hair that I do have, forgetting about scalp care, which is common thing that we do is when we're growing hair, you forget about one or the other. It's like you forget to nourish the hair that has grown, or you forget to nourish the scalp that is fostering the hair that is growing. And the thing is if you have too much calcium buildup, it ends up choking the follicles. And the amount of ingrowns and the amount of hair that it had trapped underneath calcium buildup was crazy. And I'm really good with exfoliating my scalp and getting in there, but some minerals are really harder to break through. And especially when they build up over time, and depending where you're living and the type of water that you have, if it's hard, not hard, or if you travel a lot, it's going to cause more buildup, and especially if you're not going in to do treatments. So she did this treatment. It was crazy. She even scratched my scalp. And if you looked at my scalp is very moisturized. I treat my scalp just like my face. But it was funny when we were doing the actual treatment to exfoliate the calcium off the scalp, I looked like I had so much damage, which was also another red flag for me for people to see, because a lot of times we misinterpret dandruff with calcium flakes or dry scalp. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I wonder how many people actually think that they are having dandruff when it's actually calcium buildup, which could cause more damage too.
Hmm.
So I'm like, you know what, this is going to be a great topic to talk about, and what
Yes.
I want to talk about it. And the whole thing is, so calcium buildup is hard water or water calcium buildup in your water system. And so when we have a lot of different filtered systems, and depending on where you are, you might have more calcium buildup than others. And some shampoos aren't enough to break through it. It's just like, you know, when you go in your shower head and you have all the calcium buildup around the shower head, and you have to use what, CLR, I think it's
Yep.
to remove the calcium buildup. Well, that's going to help it on your scalp too. And so it's just being really hyper aware of that and do the treatment. So that's why we're bringing it to this topic, because I think it's a great topic. And it's funny, after I did that treatment, like my hair, I forgot how much more volume I had. I've actually been using products to tame my hair down, because the calcium buildup was throughout my whole hair. And my hair was so big. I was like, holy cow, I forgot how full my hair is. And it's because we removed the weight of that calcium on my hair and my scalp. Yeah.
That's awesome, because that's something that a lot of people don't even consider, about mineral deposits on the scalp, on the hair, and how to properly remove it. Because unfortunately, as you were mentioning, most of these minerals, they either come from the outside, for instance, from the water, and if we do not have a proper filter for it, unfortunately, it's going to keep adding on. And you have to consider, the proper treatments that we need just to remove that calcium deposit that is going to accumulate over time anyways, if we don't do nothing about the shower heads, if we don't use a proper filter for our showers. So
And I want to also note too, the calcium buildup too changes depending on where you are. So yes, I'm
exactly.
in St. Albert, but I know when we go camping, I'm using different water, and the calcium buildup on that tap is far different from the calcium that is in the water from my actual home. So we also got to consider that too. So if you're an avid camper and you're using all this different water, consider too that calcium buildup may be occurring from there or different hotels. Yeah, and just keeps layering on from there. So
The problem is that, for instance, if you're not aware of it and you just keep using your regular shampoo, you know what's going to happen? The chemical reaction between those minerals and your shampoos actually makes it even harder to remove. So you may be trying to use a shampoo to remove it, and it actually is adding more to it, because you're not using a type of shampoo that's going to be able to detox the hair that it's supposed to. It's not going to be able to remove those calcium deposits, those mineral deposits on your hair and on your scalp. So using the right product for it definitely is going to help. So you have to consider that in your regime, you have to set times, like every 3 months or so, if you're not, if you don't have any issue with it, but you consider doing a detox on your hair and on your scalp at least every 3 months. And personally, I like to do it monthly, but but if you are so far away from things of that nature, at least as a precaution, 4 times a year, something to build on your hair, so something that eventually it keeps building on your hair and on your scalp. So you definitely want to remove it. All right. And you want to set time for it, and you want to, get it professionally done for you. It's the best way, because I know a lot of you like to DIY things, do it yourself, and that's all right. You can do it yourself, but if you get it professionally done, it's going to be so much better, and your scalp is going to feel so much better. And like Kerry was mentioning, I mean, I love your experience, because you're a seasoned tricologist, and sometimes even we neglect ourselves because we are so into what we are doing that we forget to set time for us. And I mean, that happens to me a lot at the clinic. There are many treatments that I like to do on myself, and sometimes months go by, I don't even get them. Why? Because I'm so busy treating people that I don't get it on myself, and I need it, and those things happens to me all the time. So
mhm.
it's important, guys, that when you get it professionally done for yourself, oh my gosh, the experience. And I mean, Kerry, you just mentioned how if your hair feels afterwards. Can you go back on it again?
Yeah, I have no product in my hair right now, and with the amount of buildup, and yes, I do clarifying shampoos regularly because I take my kids swimming all the time. But this was very different. Like my hair, I have no problem. My curl has been like I haven't even touched up my wave at all. This is me wash and wear and out of the shower with the little top knot because I've been on the computer working on our new website in the background here. But yeah, you forget, you get used to doing certain things, and oftentimes like here in Canada, we have hard seasons. We have all 4 seasons, but usually spring, fall, I'll do like a cleanse or I'll do a self care for myself and my body. But now I'm going to be adding this when I'm doing my detox. I'm also going to be doing a clarification on my scalp and just add it into my routine and have it something to look forward to. Is like, you know, my my biannual self-care for Carrie type of thing, because I got to practice what I preach to. And you know, like you forget, you get used to having things a certain way. And it was funny because I was noticing I was putting more work into styling my hair than I typically would, and I'm like, oh, that makes sense now because of all the buildup, because it does change the bond in the hair too, especially when you do have
Yes.
wavy hair. So yeah, it was a really nice refresher about the importance of the fundamental foundations of hair care. So yeah, I don't know what else to add to it, but my hair is
That's
ever
amazing.
so
No, no.
softer, like, and healthier, and like my hair is already really healthy to begin with, but taking that calcium buildup too just definitely changed. Like,
It takes an extra step,
yeah,
and that's the beauty of it. Now we were just mentioning, how you can get it from the outside, but did you guys know that you could also get it from the inside?
hmm,
Hmm. And that's something very very interesting because it is called hypercalcemia, and the thing is that we are accumulating more calcium on our bloodstream that we're supposed to, and there's different reasons for it, particularly not because of food related, because it is something that usually you see when you get calcium levels going higher on your bloodstream. Naturally you will say, well, I need to reduce the calcium, that the intake on calcium. And the thing is that it's related to metabolism, not necessarily to what we intake, but how the body responds to it. Of course, you want to lower it a bit for a while, but you definitely don't want to stop using calcium if your body needs it. If your body needs it, because that's the most important part of it. And also, um, if you're not taking your proper minerals, for instance, if your calcium deposits are if your calcium blood levels are going higher, you need to check on your magnesium, because
yeah,
maybe you're not taking the right magnesium, because the antagonist for calcium is magnesium. So you want to keep them both. And if you're not taking enough, if you're taking too much calcium but not taking magnesium, then you want to properly balance it so that you're able to keep those numbers right. Now the most important part of thing related to when calcium or mineral deposits are building in our body, if is the relationship that it has to inflammation. And that's key. That's key.
mhm,
That's why we see it many times in the follicle and around the follicle in the form of dandruff and erythema, scalp erythema. And we see it that it gets worse for people who has, like, for instance, psoriasis or seborrheic dermatitis. And these are the type of things that you really want to check up on. If you have seborrheic dermatitis, psoriasis, if you have dandruff, naturally occurring dandruff, constantly. Definitely, you want to make sure that your calcium levels and your mineral levels are up to par. Because if they're not, if they're going unchecked, then you're going to keep building on the inside, and it's keep adding onto your inflammation factors. And those inflammation factors can definitely drive other types of situations on your scalp, and maybe detach your hair from the scalp, from the follicle, causing hair loss. And if we're experiencing intelligent fluvium or a shedding because of it, definitely when the next hair grows out, it's going to be thinner, because the hair cycle has been disrupted. And we definitely want to be working on those issues. So Carrie, walk us through the connection here with inflammation and why it's important for people to understand, their inflammatory response to the bodies and what it could possibly do to the hair loss.
Yeah, well, first off, when you have how it impacts the hair follicles, it restricts blood flow, essentially starving the follicle, causing starvation. Then it causes follicle miniaturization, making it thinner, weaker hair to eventually
Mhm.
shed. So it's, it affects the density of the hair as well. And the visible signs will be like dryness, dullness, breakage, dandruff, irritated scalp, redness. And so when you have the inflammation, it's really understanding how the inflammation happened. And chronic stress causes inflammation. It could be a trigger of maybe having something that causes health issues. We see a lot of issues with gut health, and things like
Yeah.
that are triggered inflammation could be gluten, dairy. I know myself, I make a calculated decision when I have any dairy product, because I know for me too, it causes my psoriasis to flare up too. So I'm like, do I really want it? Is it worth it? And making those really calculated and self-aware decisions before I move forward with it. Do I want it just because I want it, or I want it because I need it? Or if it's going to bring joy. So, it's being really aware of those decisions, because, yes, I love milk. However, I do love my hair. So am I going to cause hair issues and cause that downward spiral and increase my inflammation, or what? Because, a lot of times in society, we're told to have so much of one thing and then we overdo it. It's about having balance. Sugar is okay, but don't overdo it.
Yeah.
Have a small amount. Exercising, you could have consequences of over exercising and cause damage. It's all about quality and quantity, and being aware of the quality you're doing and the quantity that you're doing. Don't want to overdo it. Doesn't mean you can't have it or you don't do it. It's just being able to have the discipline to know how much is too much is not enough, if that makes sense. So
It does.
yeah.
I mean, because unfortunately, nowadays it's all about excess. Unfortunately, the next new diet, and everybody goes into it like guns blazing and everything in between, and they forget, the importance of, you have to bring in balance into the equation. But for instance, a couple of weeks back, my endocrinologist, she suggested for me to use the GLP-1 diet, to do the injections. And I said to her, "All right, but let's walk this properly through it, because I don't want to get it, you know, uh, I don't want to get hair shedding. I don't want to get the bad things. I don't want to lose muscle tone." And the thing is that you have to see all the process for what it is, whether it's dieting, whether it's exercise, whether it's applying a product to your hair, to your scalp. You have to consider all the possible angles, and something that usually we do not do. For instance, if I really want to treat this, if I really want to avoid calcium deposits on the hair, what are some of the things that we can do? Well, we discussed it earlier in the show. We were mentioning about using water filters. So you want to make sure that you're using a water softener, a shower filters, and those things can definitely improve, avoiding getting more onto your hair and onto your scalp, right? But over time, you have to realize that, I still need to detox my hair, to detox my scalp. I need that. I need that. And those filters, those water softeners, yes, they're good for when I'm at home. But if I'm traveling, if I'm going to someone else's houses, and I'm showering, of course, I'm going to get some of that. So I need to properly balance the equation and eventually use products that will clarify my scalp, that will clarify the hair. And here's the thing, there are a list of ingredients that we can consider. For instance, you have to consider that most of the products out there are alkaline in comparison to your hair. So alkalinity is something that will attract the molecules of calcium into your hair. So instead of removing them, actually binds them to your hair. So the one thing that can actually help block away those substance from your hair and to your scalp will be acidic solutions, acidic shampoos. So whenever you're considering acidic shampoos, I like to consider, for instance, salicylic acid. That's my favorite. That's my favorite above all, and I like it a lot. Also, we can consider acetic acid, for instance, vinegar.
Yeah.
We can add vinegar to our shampoos or do solutions considering that has vinegar or
I
acetic
also
acid. Huh? Go
I
ahead.
want to interject on that too, because you see a lot of people on like a lot of like your YouTubers and stuff talking about using apple cider vinegar for the
Oh,
hair
yeah.
and stuff, which totally fine, but using it correctly. I find that if you use it and abuse it, it's not going to work. And so it's doing it as a treatment once in a while, not
Exactly.
every day. And that's the thing, is I'm finding a lot of these people who don't understand the importance of understanding the balance of pH and alkaline and acid, overdoing it and using apple cider vinegar for all their washes, and then they wonder why their hair is bad. It's, again, too much of one thing is not a good thing. Sorry, I just had to interrupt because I see it all the time, and especially with the influencers on there, how they use lime and lemon juice and apple cider vinegar on a regular basis, which, yes, are okay if you're using it correctly and in the right situations.
I mean, you see those bombs that they're doing, and they're putting on videos. They put in uh, oh my gosh, the powder, baking soda, baking powder, right? And they use the lemon and they use the vinegar and then they mix it in,
Ingredients.
and you see the chemical reaction. And my gosh, those chemical reactions can be so harsh on your skin, on your scalp. So you have to be very careful whenever you guys are doing things on that order, because even though they're natural ingredients, there still is a chemical reaction. And those changes in pH are so volatile, like from extremely high to extremely low in an instant. And there's so much your scalp is able to take.
I have
Exactly.
people, the periodic table and chemistry. It's funny because a lot of people forget chemistry and chemical reactions can be caused by temperature, minerals, everything. So, for example, maybe one solution works for you in one location, but not the other. And it's because maybe the chemicals that are in the water, or maybe the elevation. Maybe it worked for you in Vancouver, but it doesn't work in you in Alberta because of the biometric pressure. Temperature. Remember the whole hair straightening thing? They said formaldehyde free, but then they had to seal it with a 450-degree iron, but you put a chemical reaction in there, it caused 11.7% carcinogenic.
Or for instance, if you're doing hair dye and the salon is too cold,
It won't work.
it will work.
Well, yeah, yeah, and it's just like, I know there's a lot of people who like, what's that drink that everybody loves with the Coke and the milk? You got to put one or the other first. If you put one first, it curdles, but if you put the other first, it doesn't. What is that?
I forgot about that.
Yeah, but a popular drink that they drink all the time. I remember when I was a bartender, it's like, oh, don't put that way, it's gonna it curdled. Like, it's chemical reaction and how you do
Yeah.
things, right? Like, you can't put the vinegar in, and like, my kids too, we did this. We were making those volcanoes for their dinosaur place, and my son put the vinegar in before he put the baking soda. I'm like, oh, no, you gotta do it the other way, honey. Like, so it's remembering that chemical reaction, in which we often forget about too. So yeah.
Definitely. But those are the type of things, that you have to be aware of. The different ingredients that we want to use. For instance, as I was saying, I like using acidic ingredients. For instance, consider citrus extracts. For instance, instead of just using limes directly, there are shampoos, there are products out there who that are ready for you. You can just buy them straight up and start applying it directly to your scalp, and they're comfortable. They will get you to the results. Maybe not in one session, but in a couple of sessions, you will get the results, right? But the thing is that nowadays we want instant results, and we're willing to go the extra mile and do the extra dangerous stuff. So be careful, guys. Be careful out there. There's a lot of crazy stuff out there, and you need to consider the chemistry behind it. All right, and that's very important. Now, enough with the outside. How about the inside? What can we do on the inside? Carrie, what can we do to break this mineral deposits from the inside that leads us to basically inflammation? What are the things that we can do?
First thing I say is start being aware of your triggers and those triggers that are causing the inflammation. So, analyze within 2 weeks, or like start analyzing your regular diet, and then all of a sudden you notice that something changed. Go back and be like, what did I change about myself in the last 2 weeks? Did my stress intake change, or did I have more dairy than I typically do, or did I have more gluten than I typically would? Take note of that, and you'll start to eventually start to see a pattern. And once you start seeing the pattern, you'll notice that is the trigger that is causing the inflammation. So with that being said, is then once you start to know your regular trigger, that's when you could start being more of a warrior against it and evolving to better adapt yourself to it. So whether it's, maybe it is the dairy causing inflammation. Remember, I said I have it in moderation. I make calculated decisions if I'm going to have that dairy. So for myself, I know that if I have a slice of gluten-free pizza with real cheese, one slice is maybe one is enough. And then I will not have any more for the rest of the week unless it's like a lactose-free cheese. Because I know if I can have that second piece as much as I want it, I will have inflammation of my psoriasis. But I know that's how my body reacts. But I also know too that if my gut health is intact and I have a really good healthy gut, I might be able to have too, because I know my body. I'm very aware of my body. I know that by knowing that if my tummy is not firm and have like, that little Santa belly, I know that if my skin is really nice and fresh, you kind of start to analyze yourself and be like, okay, my body can handle 2 slices of pizza with that cheese on it. So it's just being very hyper vigilant on what you can handle and what you can't have, and then be more calculated with that decision. Wine is also a trigger for a lot of people. Maybe you could start, maybe you are a wine person, you could figure out maybe it's where the region is coming. For myself, I did start doing that analyzation. I noticed that certain wines from certain regions, I would get instantly sick or start sneezing, but some regions I'm fine with. But it's based on the chemistry of your body. And yes, every wine and every fruit has a different chemistry. Like my sister cannot eat apples from Canada, but she could eat them from New Zealand. So it's funny, like when you start being observant of all of that and what causes the reaction, because it does change the chemistry. So, that's where I would start is, just being hyper aware of what you're intaking. And intaking mental stress is part of intake as well. So like if you notice that you have a stressful work period coming up, for accountants, for example, all my accountants, I always say, okay, accounting season's coming up a few months before, let's get your routine intact and get you getting some routine of meditation or yoga or doing some things that fill your cup. And they noticed that as soon as they started doing those, they had less hair shed. So, it's, being prepared for that. I know if you had a traumatic event happening, maybe it's doing things to help you self-care and heal that mental intake as well by, talking to someone or journaling or doing something that fills your cup. For me, I like to make my jewelry. That's my mindful practice. So that too is intake stress. So it's really a matter of combating that. It's epigenetics. So.
And that's the beauty of it. I mean, you definitely want to take care of those things in your life. You want to make sure that you're doing right by your body. And I mean, we all need to consider we are getting older. We're getting older. And the things that used to, the way that our body used to react when we were in the 20s or in our teenagers, in our teens, it's quite different now that we are in our 40s, 50s, 60s. I mean, your body reacts different, and you need to take into account how the body is changing, and by changing, it provides different perspective on how the body's going to be reacting to different things. So consider what you're intaking. What are you putting into your body? What are you putting into your mind? What are you taking in? So, and also, again, we were mentioning early on, for instance, are you taking magnesium, and which magnesium are you taking? For instance, I love malate and glycinate and magnesium. I love them too much, and the reason for it because it helps out with not only with our digestive system but also with our nervous system. It's amazing. Now, you can also consider, for instance, as we were mentioning, um, for our scalp, the right detox products. Again, the proper pH products. We want to use acidic solutions, and also we want to massage. And we can have someone do it for us. My God, have the experience, enjoy it, and have a moment for yourself where you get actually relax. And you have someone working on your scalp and massaging your hair and doing the treatment for you. Because at the end of the day, you have to consider maybe those treatments are not going to get my hair back, but at least it's going to help you keep what you have and keep healthy, keep your scalp and hair healthy. My God. And I'm saying this because now there's a trend with the Japanese head massage spa, right? Everyone is doing it. Everyone is doing it. And I'm okay with it. And I love it. It's a great experience. It's not going to bring your hair back, but it is a tool. It is a tool that used properly is going to help you keep the hair that you have. It's going to help you detox your scalp and your hair. So
Increase
there's a lot of great
circulation.
benefits from it. I mean, it's not like I said, it's not something that's going to bring your hair back. It's not something that's going to stop your hair loss, but definitely something that adds up to the process. It's just a piece of the puzzle. And for you guys who are experiencing hair loss right now, I know that you get confused by what is good for hair loss. What can I do for? Hold your horses, guys. Here's the thing: you have to consider that there are many pieces in the puzzle, and we need to work with each and one of those details. Sometimes you have to put all the small fires around you in order to get a win. In order to get the hair loss under control, in order to get the dandruff under control, in order to get the sebum under control on your scalp, right? So taking those steps are important, but does not necessarily mean that because you're doing, a head Japanese spa on your head, that you're gonna get full control of your hair loss, that you're gonna get full regrowth in just one session. That's not the way it works. Okay, that's not the way it works. So you need to set your expectations, to be realistic with your expectations. And when you go and look and search and shop for a professional, make sure that you vet it thoroughly. Make sure that you have read the reviews, that you understand who you're working with. And once you have a good professional in front of you, keep him, keep her, keep them. All right. Keep them in your life, because a good professional definitely is going to be worth your while and their weight in gold, basically. You definitely want to work with the right professionals. And here at the Hair Wire, we want to promote health clinics. We want to promote health places. We want to promote salons that are actually doing the right work. So if you're a salon and you want to work and collaborate here with the Hair Wire, all you have to do is get in contact with us, thehairwire.com, because we're doing something very interesting, very interesting. Carrie, walk us through what we are doing at the Hair Wire. Just a little taste, just a little something of what we are doing to basically get all of our professionals in one place, the people who are doing it correctly, and how we can help people out.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we're working on a well, we have our website, but we're actually building a hub, essentially a hub for patrons on the front end to give you correct, accurate information by trichologists, from trichologists, and other people who we are recommending to be if influential with correct information in the hair industry, considering hair and scalp health. We have broken it down to each hair loss factor, and when you go to the website, there is a mini quiz that you can take, and we are working on bringing other trichologists onto the site, which hopefully will be up by the end of the month, with trichologists that are peer reviewed and peer recommended, and then also to faculty friends that we on to showcase what they're doing as well. So if you do know anybody, or if you're one of those people, please message us directly, because I'd love to see what you have, because our big thing is collaboration over competition and working together, because we want to raise the standards of the industry, especially trichology. And then for those professionals, we do have a membership login on the back, which we are building. It hasn't been released yet because we're still adding some content to it, but we have essentially established it so that it's an umbrella of trichology with sectors underneath. I find in the trichology sector right now, there's so many people that are trichologists, but they're trichologists with training in who are licensed cosmetologists, who are general practitioners, who are naturopaths. And there's a lot of information that we should not be sharing based on those industries as well. And so we have created, so we have the umbrella of trichology and then the broken out sectors based on that industry. And it is controlled based on your licensing as well. So we have cosmetologists specific to trichology, or trichologists who are just trichologists. And we have ones that are naturopath, general path, surgical, and so forth. But in the umbrella part, we do have in there business programs for you. We are sharing events that are live or in person, not just from us, but anybody in the trichology industry that is reputable. And other courses. So we're just waiting for everybody to submit their courses and their workshops right now, because there are going to be free ones and there are going to be ones that are paid. But we're here to cater to the trichology industry, to raise the bar, and to create integrity in our industry, because we have lost that, and that is our major goal. And we will be creating badges to hold people accountable for leveling up their education, because just because you took trichology 10 years ago doesn't mean that you're maintaining your education. So we're holding you accountable as well in this too. So it's good for collaboration and working together. And everybody that we have talked about and that we are bringing in that are peer elected to be a part of this are super excited, because this is going to bring us all together in a collaboration to raise the bar. So go check it out. I am working. We will be also having for patron access for you, the viewers, is to have an email. I'm hoping to have it weekly. I'm just waiting for somebody to help me establish and build this, because it is take time. Good things take time. And there's only 3 of us doing this right now until we have our collaborators in there. But eventually when it is built, it'll be built and we can just maintain it. But we would like to do a weekly newsletter. So if you want to get that on, if you're a patron, with weekly obtainable advice for hair care. We will have that where it'll be, good morning, have a good week, and, maybe remind you to do a detox, or remind you about what to eat and little tips, or how to know if your ferritin's low and those little cues. So we plan to have that email in there too. So if you want to get on that, join that newsletter. And if you're one who wants to learn that information to teach that, then come on, join the membership, because it's there. And it is free right now. We do have 3 tiers. Right now, the tier is free, but eventually we'll have tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, depending on what we're offering. So yeah, it's a really good platform, and this is just the beginning.
I would say not just good platform. It's something extra. It's something else. It's something else. We're at a whole nother level. That's what we're doing here at the Hairwire, guys. And again, please stay connected. Visit thehairwire.com and visit all our social medias. Go to our YouTube channel, our Instagram page, Facebook, TikTok, all of our social medias. Go visit the Hairwire, thehairwire.com. Stay connected with us and keep yourself hair smart. Hair smart people. That's what people are doing right now. They're connecting here with the Hairwire. They're getting educated, and of course, they're growing beautiful hair. And that's what we want to hear from you guys. And if you still are looking for a good trichologist, you need help with your hair loss situation, contact us. We want to help you out, and we will be able to make recommendations of people who we truly believe are going to be able to work with you and get you the right help, the right tools, and the right resources for you. All right. So
and I also want to note too, I've had quite a few people reach out to me as well directly to help you out. I am right now on pause taking one-on-one clients, just because I need to build this website, and I'm bringing in all the trichologists to work together. So if you do want to work with somebody, I am sending your information to either Sergio or Basan, or if not, I find another trichologist in the area that you could work with. But I just want to make that clear. I'm not ignoring you. It's just I'm really focusing on getting this website done done, so that way it caters to you. So if you do need anything, please message, and then I'll send you to Surgery Basan, or we'll go from there and see what the best option is until I start taking clients again. But it's just you gotta focus on the big picture. So sometimes you have to stop, pause, and reset to move forward faster. So that's what I'm doing.
Hey, that's what we're doing here at the Hair Wire. Hey, just to clarify, just to recap, if we're dealing with calcium deposits, mineral deposits, assess your water. Make sure that you're dealing with hard water, and if you need filters or not. Use your clarifying shampoos, particularly the ones that are acidic. Boost your magnesium, massage your scalp, and seek professional help. That's it, guys.
I'm adding 3 more in there.
Go ahead.
Know the difference between calcification and dandruff.
Oh, yes.
Yes. And how hard your water also does affect your color, you guys. So, and how curly your hair is. Remember, I just said my hair is a lot curlier, and I'm not using product right now. So it does affect the bond in the hair. And then early signs of follicle miniaturization, we talked about that. So go back and recap the video. So
definitely. Carrie, thank you. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for staying tuned, guys. God bless you all. We'll see you next week. Till then, bye-bye. Where's the outro video? Oh, here it is.